What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, J-Nog, and I'm here, of course, with the President of the United States of Mar-a-Lago of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. But before we get to Mr. President, we have a special guest announcement.
Yes, Donald Trump is in the bathroom right now. I just heard him flush, so I got to make this quick. Hello, everybody who will be anywhere near New York City this Saturday, April Fool's Day, April 1st, 9:30 p.m. I'm recording my new special, which somehow is being recorded before my first special has been released. So if you're going to be anywhere in New York City, anywhere near New York City this Saturday, ticket link is on my website. Triad Theater, West 72nd Street in Manhattan. Come to the show. I will never forgive you if you don't. Thank you. Oh, here comes the president. Tech stuff.
Mr. President, how are you?
Well, I was doing good until I saw a large trespasser in my the presidential podcast studio. And I think he looked like he might be Italian, but I got my spidey sense tells me he might be part black. So we're going to need to get this room disinfected very quickly. ASAP Rocky. We're going to need this totally disinfected.
Now, Mr. President, lots going on in the news.
And I'm doing
Yes.
fine. Normally the text, obviously the new rude stuff guy. And because I usually get asked how I'm doing, and instead, now let's get right to business.
I asked you how you were doing.
No, excuse me.
And then you just told me about your imposter.
Excuse me. You know what? Excuse me.
Okay. Well, Mr. President, your former VP is in the news again, and he is being forced to testify in the January 6th investigation to the grand jury. Are you nervous about him testifying? I mean, he's been throwing you under the bus left and right lately, so I don't know what he's going to say, but are you going to speak to him beforehand? What's the plan here?
Small gay traitor Mike Pence. We're not worried about, and I find it so funny. It shows you that the Injustice Department and all these people, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Mike Pence, if you've ever seen him with his ball gag and his leather mask, of course he wants to be forced to testify. He doesn't want to get, that's how he gets off. When they issue him a subpoena, he gets on his knees and say, give me that subpoena right in my mouth. And so this is what he wants. He's a very submissive traitor. And people don't know this. Tech stuff. But on January 6th, I have it on good authority. Trusted people. They say that he actually wanted to go get hanged by the mob. That's how submissive he is. And mother had to drag him away he wanted to get hanged by a bunch of men. He was running through the Capitol with an erection at the thought of that. And it was mother who said, no, they're not going to just spank you and let you jerk off, Michael. They're going to actually kill you for real, not like an autoerotic
asphyxiation.
Aspiration. Exactly.
Okay.
So no, I'm not afraid of Mike Pence. Nobody's afraid of Mike Pence. He's weak. He's going to testify. He's incapable of giving strong or truthful testimony. So it's going to be very weak. It's going to be he'll have a very serious face, very serious, manly Mike Pence. And then it's going to be nothing coming out of his mouth. He'd rather have things going in his mouth,
Well, I just hope he doesn't lie.
Gay things.
I just hope he doesn't lie and make you look really bad in this situation. And and then there'll be an avalanche of lies against you. And I just don't want anything to happen to you, Mr. President.
And there's nothing Mike Pence would like more than being buried in a bunch of white substances, like an avalanche.
Also, an old friend of yours, Christie, has come out and said that he wants to take down Trump. That's what he said. He's going to take you down.
We call him fat bastard.
How is he going to do that? Because he tried to run for president last time, and I think he got like 0.2% support of the American people. So I don't understand a man with so little power trying to throw that 0.2% around. I don't understand him.
He's an example of, sometimes people go to like, a Tony Robbins show or like, oh, I'm empowered. Oh, I've listened to the self-help tapes and I'm going to make it. And those people end up homeless. They never make it. They always talk a big game and they end up homeless with no friends. Well, Tony Robbins has, probably hundreds of millions of dollars talking to these losers. I think Christie has gone to one too many Bruce Springsteen concerts and thinks that he's like a working man's champion, when what he is, in fact, is a roly-poly fat bastard.
Mr. President, last week when we recorded, you mentioned about an indictment. You said the indictment is coming, and you warned the American people, and you said it was going to come the next day, and then it never came. And now they're saying there's going to be no indictment this week, and the New York grand jury is not voting on it, and they don't know when they're going to vote on it. Do you think it's because you warned the American people and now they don't want you to be right about your own indictment? What's going on here?
No, I think how about that, everybody? Tech stuff made a good point. I think that's exactly what it is. I think you have these people who they're so disturbed. They're so sick. They're really sick. They're disgusting, sick, filthy, scumbag animals. And I honestly think if I said to these people, these radical left, disgusting Democrats, oh, your daughter, she's beautiful, they'd take out a bat and bash their daughter in the face and say, you lie, she's hideous. That's what they would do. Because the most important thing to them is that Trump is not right. Trump is wrong. Oh, look at that. You have a very lovely home, sir. No, and then they'd burn their home down. They'd burn their own home down if I complimented it. So these are sick people. These are sick people. These are sick, disgusting, depraved, as I call them, scumbag animals.
Now, you requested when you get indicted for them to put handcuffs on you. Did you request this?
I did, but that was really to tease Mike Pence, who was always asking to be handcuffed.
Now, if you were indicted when you said you were going to be indicted, would that be your whole, all your talking points? I told you I was going to be indicted. I knew I was going to be indicted. I told you this.
Well, I do know. No, it was. I think they might even be having second thoughts because they realize after I think the episode we did, actually, Prison Blacks for Trump. I think actually Alvin the Bragg, the DA, I think he listened. I think he listened and he realized Trump might be even stronger if we put him in prison. He might actually become more powerful. So I think it's good to see that they're listening to the podcast. That's, we'll take the listens. We'll take they call them downloads, tech stuff. Yeah, you just press that download button and there it is, a big load of podcast right in your face. So I think they probably listened to it at the DA's office and realized, I don't know if we can do this. I think Trump might be too strong already, and he certainly will get stronger if he has 10,000 prison blacks backing him up.
Did you receive any emails from prison after the last episode or any collect calls?
A few people called me and said, when is Roger Stone's wife getting here?
That was the huge selling point.
Well, I mean, it's obviously one of the selling points. You're in prison, you don't get, she's pretty broken in, as you can imagine. But when you've been in prison for years, you sort of, you just pick her up off the floor and find your way inside.
Were any requests for to put money into their funds so they can buy various toothbrushes and food. Any requests like that?
Well, sure, you know, of course, but they know that I've already. If I get sent to prison, they know they're all getting $5,000 in the commissary.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were recently in Waco, Texas for a rally,
Great
correct?
place with a great tradition of religious freedom and strong love, very strong love. I always remember David Kanish. He was like a
Yeah.
deli owner.
Well, he was really, I think, a cult leader, and it's the 30th anniversary of his whole compound being invaded and everything like that.
I thought, remember when Will Ferrell, she burned up the whole compound. That's what Democrats do. They act like we're the violent ones. And then Will Ferrell showed up, Attorney General, and burned the place to the ground. That's what Democrats do.
So Democrats preach no violence, but secretly do a lot of violence. Is that what you're saying?
All David Koresh did was open a Jewish deli, make love to many women, and preach very strong words. And they were all having a very nice time, very nice time. And they had guns because it's called Texas and it's called freedom. It's called Second Amendment tech stuff. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Second Amendment. And they burned it down for no reason. So I thought it was a total coincidence that I showed up in Waco. But, you know, as I learned about David Kanish, I thought, you know, did he have do you have any hot dogs with that? Maybe a nice pastrami sandwich.
Are you a fan of the Kanish? And do you choose square or round?
Kanish, like that was that show on ABC a long time ago. The Kanish. It was about a police commissioner.
No, the Knish is like a Jewish food delicatessen. Usually has a Jewish delicatessen, and it's potato, and it has like a crust on the outside, and there's
Well,
just
that's
square
no.
or.
When Ivanka, I once walked in on Ivanka on the toilet after she'd converted to Judaism, and I said, "Oh, cover up your Kanish." You talking about that?
No, I don't think that's the same thing. I'm talking about a food. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm a strong supporter of food.
A Knish. No,
D'Souza?
no, I don't
Ganesh
know how.
D'Souza? He's a very strong filmmaker. He's very big supporter of mine. I got as many Kanish lines as you can take.
I know. I think I'm done. But at your rally in Waco, Texas, you always talk smack about your opponents or future opponents, from crooked Hillary to Biden, and you've always talked smack, and you have these nicknames for them. And usually when you at these rallies and you mention it, the crowd goes crazy. And at this Waco, Texas rally, you were talking smack about Ron DeSantis, and there was no reaction in the crowd. Did that bother you?
Can we go off the podcast record?
Yes, one moment. We're off.
These are truly stupid, ignorant, filthy animals. Okay.
Okay.
Who I respect. I respect greatly. They're great patriots. They're great people, but they are simple, smelly, disgusting, ignorant, Mountain Dew drinking, bath salts trash in Waco, Texas. So I thought, I'm a little hoarse from doing powerful speaking, but I thought they don't get it yet. They're a little slower. You know how they say everything is bigger in Texas? You ever heard that tech stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've
Well,
heard that saying.
they're big stupid in Texas, a lot of places. So their stupidity is bigger with a hard R. And they'll get it. They'll get it. And I'm patient with Texas because they're a strong Trump state. But, you know, they just have to do 2 or 3 rallies and they'll finally realize, okay. Yeehaw, we're supposed to be against DeSantis. Well, howdy, partner. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Beep, ba-doop, ba-doo. And then we get them on my side and we do very strong Second Amendment rallies and we win. Most importantly, we win.
Go back on the record.
Oh yeah, no, back on the record.
Go
I
back.
think I think they've been brainwashed. They're very smart people down there in Waco, Texas, quality people, some of the
Yes.
best we have. And I think that what you're talking about is the media is purposely trying to confuse them into thinking that DeSantis is a sort of Trump Jr., Trump, like the second coming of Trump. So they've been sort of brainwashed into thinking that we're both very strong candidates. So they're uncomfortable right now, but they'll learn. They'll learn once we get through that nasty media. Because, like I said, these people in Waco, these are talented people, these are smart people, these are very sharp people, and they will get it, and we will help them get it. And when they get it, DeSantis won't stand a chance, especially because he's so short and dumpy.
Mr. President, a lot more stories to talk about, but before we talk about them, I want to talk about our most awesome new sponsor, and that is FanDuel, Massachusetts. Listen up. The wait is finally over. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is now live in Massachusetts and all over the country where gambling is legal. And new customers, Massachusetts, can get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at fanduel.com/Boston. Finally, you can bet on all your favorite sports, from the money line to point spreads to player props and more. Mr. President, have you been betting on the craziest NCAA tournament ever? We have a 9 seed in the Final Four right
Well, I
now.
can tell you right now, if you'll stop talking for a second, I can tell you exactly my final four if you're ready.
I'm ready.
I picked Miami because I have a strong association with Florida, and I picked Florida Atlantic, which not a lot of people picked, but I had them.
Mm-hmm.
And then because it's one of the few conservative places in California, I picked San Diego State, and I rounded that up with. I thought we got to have one sort of traditional basketball power in the Final Four. So I said, you know who's won a lot of titles?
Who?
UConn.
Uh,
So how did I do? I haven't even checked the standings, but how did I do? I
that you
placed a very strong. I actually put uh $10,000 on FanDuel on that Final Four.
well, you should probably cash out because you got all the Final Four teams. Congratulations.
Oh, very okay. Well, you know what? I didn't even know. I didn't even know tech stuff. So that's we might donate that to doctors with my charity, Doctors Without Morals. They go
Mm-hmm.
to they go to Asia and they repair cleft palates, but they make the lips into dick sucking lips. Not just they don't just make you look normal; they actually plump you up. And if they have anything left over, you get a nice augmentation to the breasts. So it's Doctors Without Morals. You're getting a nice, strong donation from your president.
That's nice. I put FAU to win it all. So let's see what happens here. So you can bet now on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't miss your chance to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Visit fanduel.com/Boston and make every moment more on America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 and over and present in Massachusetts. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Hope is here. Gambling helpline ma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Now back to the show. Mr. President, I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm sure you are, but there was another tragedy right outside of Nashville. There was a mass shooting at a school.
There was a okay. No, I thought you were going to tell me they were teaching kids critical race theory.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Were they Okay, so is a drag they drag brunch? They did drag brunch. I did drag brunch, and in a strong Republican state like Tennessee, they did a drag brunch. What a
Was
disgrace! What a
it,
disgrace!
it
Huh?
wasn't a drag brunch. There was 6 people murdered, 3 of them children. Um,
You're telling me with critical race theory? I
no,
told you it
I'm
was
not.
dangerous. You didn't believe me because I know you shade a little to the woke side tech stuff, but it was. I warned what would happen if we did critical race theory. You're saying it was not critical race theory.
It wasn't critical race theory at all.
Well, they weren't praying in the school, were they? They weren't praying. We took prayer out of the schools. What kind of school was this?
I think it was a private school.
What kind of private school?
Um, I'd have to look up what type of private school, but I don't think it was a religious school. Um,
Okay, so they didn't do prayer in school, is what you're telling me?
no, I don't think
Okay.
so. It was
Well, confirm that. Confirm that with me. I want to, before I make accusations, I want to be sure. But obviously, if they'd had prayer in school, that maybe, whether it's
actually
critical
it was
race theory,
it
drag.
was the no, it was the Covenant School, a Presbyterian private school. So I guess it was religious.
Oh, okay. So they might have actually been doing prayer. Okay. So you're telling me there was no critical race theory, which
No,
I don't believe. They didn't do a drag brunch. And you're telling me they were probably praying in school because it was a Christian school. Well, that means that obviously there was probably, if I had to guess, there was probably socialism. They were probably doing socialism. So what happened? So socialism destroyed the school?
no, there was a school shooter, and this school shooter, I think, for the 5th time ever in U.S. history, was a woman, a girl.
Oh,
Was the
okay.
school?
That's interesting
Yeah.
because we got a lot of, and we say I don't pray, but some of my people they say they pray. So hopefully those people are praying. And I certainly don't feel good about this. But this is what happens under Sleepy Joe Biden. Have you noticed this? This is what you get with Sleepy Joe Biden. And I think a lot of people owe this podcast, frankly, an apology because when we had men's rights activists like Roy Dunn Hollander, you didn't see too many girls shooting up schools. You didn't see too many girls shooting up schools when you had a guy like Roy Dunn Hollander willing to do the tough work. The tough work. And now that we have Sleepy Joe, this is a perfect storm when you have a Sleepy Joe in office and a Roy Den Hollander in heaven looking down on us instead of on earth, protecting us from women's agenda. It's a tough thing. So I feel bad for the school, but more importantly, I feel bad for us because we're the real victims. Republicans and Trump people, we're the real victims here.
Yeah. I think also news came out that this woman girl shooter was also transgender. That just came out as well.
Well, there it is. That's the reason.
What's the reason?
That's the reason. That's the reason for the season.
So that's the reason for the school shooting was
That's
being
the reason. Yeah,
transgender.
I was circling around it. It was either critical race theory, drag brunch, socialism, lack of prayer. But then on the fifth on the list is trans agenda. So it's a sad day. We feel very bad for me, frankly, for me, that they stole an election from me. And because I'm not in office, we have horrible things like this happening. So I feel bad for me, but I also feel bad for other people too, including families, some of them, and some of the teachers, the faculty. Those people, that we don't like. We don't like when this happens, tech stuff. We don't like when this happens, but this is what happens when you have a radical left agenda, even in a place like Tennessee, which is a strong red state. So obviously, the solution here is we've tried more guns. We always say very strongly to protect people, we need more guns. But more guns hasn't worked. Tech stuff. I'll admit that. More guns hasn't worked. You hear that? More guns hasn't worked. So what I'm suggesting, to honor the fallen children, the fallen teachers, the community, and myself, most importantly, as sort of suffering through not being president because that was stolen and this would have never happened under my administration. I am recommending more guns to solve this problem. More guns. We've tried more guns. I think we now need to do more guns. That's a lot of guns, tech stuff. We haven't tried that. That I can tell you. So we will do. I don't like to think, and I don't do prayer, but I would like to encourage people who do those things to do those things, and then we will. If I was president, we would be doing more guns right away. We're gonna have to wait until I'm back in the office before we can implement my strategy of more guns.
More guns.
I mean, we'll even have Morgan Freeman show up just because his name sounds like Morgan. You know, we might have we'll have Morgan Wallen, who screams the N-word. He's the great country singer who says the N-word. We'll have him say the N-word at Morgan Freeman, and it'll be two Morgans. So you'll have more Morgans with more guns. And we'll do an ad campaign. And I think we'll arm everybody twice. And if you go through a metal detector at a strong Christian school and you don't have a gun, you get expelled. So I think we've solved this. We think very, what's the emotion?
Sad?
No, that's not it.
Depressed.
Very proud of our great idea to solve this problem. We're very proud. And, you know, we hope that something gets done in that community. And we hope that they're just open-minded to the idea of more guns to solve this problem, because we won't get out. It's these tragedies happen too often, and nobody's ever brought up this suggestion until now, tech stuff. But I'm saying we do a rally with Morgan Freeman and Morgan Wallen where he screams the N-word at Morgan Freeman, and we chant for more guns, because nothing's going to stop. You ever notice what they don't have at these shootings? The common thing at all these shootings. You ever notice what's the one thing every shooting has?
A gun.
Exactly. But you know what no shootings have? More guns. So we're going to try that. We're going to try that and we're going to do it in honor of these poor people, the children and the teachers who, it's a sad thing for some people, and we're going to get it done with more guns.
Now, with this tragedy, I don't know if you heard about this, but Sleepy Joe Biden was speaking about this, and before he addressed,
he was trying to speak. He's not so great at speaking.
Well, people are mad at him because when he came downstairs in the White House, there was ice cream there, and he made a joke about the ice cream, and then addressed the Nashville mass shooting, and people were upset that he made light of the situation by making a joke right before he spoke about ice cream. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, well, I think it's disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful that you can do that. You should never make jokes about ice cream, ever. Ever. You understand me? They can say, oh, it wasn't the proper time. There's never a proper time to make jokes about ice cream. I'm saying that right now. I'll say that very strongly for everybody to hear. There's never an appropriate time to make fun of ice cream. And Joe Biden has violated that very sacred thing. It's a sacred food, ice cream. And I don't care what the occasion is. You should never make fun of ice cream. Have I made myself clear?
You scream?
Well, you scream I scream for ice cream, but I don't joke about ice cream.
So no why was he making about ice cream?
No, I don't care what the setting is. Whatever he was talking about today, I'm sure it was something pleasant, but to ruin it with a talk about with making jokes about ice cream is undignified. It's very undignified for a president to do that.
Well, Mr. President, before we have two more stories left, two more big stories left. Before we get to them, I want to talk about another great sponsor of ours, and that is Rocket Money. Are you wasting money on subscriptions? I was wasting money on subscriptions before I found Rocket Money because 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account or a Hulu account that never gets streamed. There's this great app I use that helps me track all my expenses. And because of it, I no longer waste money on subscriptions. That's right. I found about this app before the holidays, saved hundreds of dollars, and was able to buy more gifts for my family. That's right. It's Rocket Money. You might have heard of it, formerly known as Truebill. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend, I don't know, $80 a month on subscriptions, when the actual total is closer to $200 or more. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about or use. And there's the app I love using that takes care of that for me. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and then cancels them for you whenever you don't want them. It's awesome. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you don't even know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription, and it's so easy to cancel. All you have to do is just press cancel. You don't have to call anyone. You don't have to email anyone. You don't have to wait on hold and then get transferred to 3 different people. Rocket Money takes care of everything for you. You just press cancel. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. It saved me hundreds of dollars. That's rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Let's get back to it. Now, Mr. President, I wanted to talk to you about your old friend, formerly known as Tough BiBi, just BiBi. Is he just BiBi? No nickname?
Oh, when you get into this story, I'm going to share with you, Tiffany was always a big fan of BiBi. We're going to get into he almost got the title back. How about that? It's a close call, but we can talk about that with this story, what happened with BiBi.
Well, he's trying to rip apart the judicial system in Israel. I know he's been in trouble, and he's basically trying to get himself out of trouble by taking the rights of everyone for judicial decisions and making it
Hold on for 1 second.
the government.
Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
Tiffany, shut up. Excuse me.
Now, I wish I could ask BiBi about this whole thing because I'm sure he has a better explanation because
but he actually just stopped by because I had actually sent him an invite to Mar-a-Lago that he was about to reclaim the title of BiBi. Because what I'm going to tell you right now is when I heard what he was doing, he was charged with corruption. You know, he was a strong leader.
Mm-hmm.
Before he wished Biden congratulations on fake winning the presidency. He was a tough, strong leader until then, but he showed total disloyalty, total weakness. And basically, what you're talking about is to fight corruption. He was willing to destroy the judiciary system so that they couldn't kick him out of office, and then he could appease the right way, far right, and become a much stronger leader. Some might even say a democratic dictator. And I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about BiBi. Maybe Tough BiBi had a slight error in judgment because they were throwing so many false charges at him that he accidentally wished Joe Biden a congratulations. But then what he did today was because of a little protest, just because the entire population of Israel and the military and the international media thinks he's doing the wrong thing and protested. You know what he did? He backed down like a dog. He said, no, we'll postpone this. We'll postpone this. Oh, we're going to postpone. And postponing is a technique of the week.
Can we ask him
How about
about
that?
this?
How about that for a bar? Technique for the week. Right between Mike Pence butt cheeks. Bars. BiBi, they want to talk to you. Try not to make the podcast too weak. Thank you.
Formerly Tough BiBi, now just BiBi. Can you explain to me why you are trying to make this decision for Israel when everyone is against it except you and probably a handful of people?
Well, listen, tech stuff. What's important to me is the state of Israel. And right now, the democratic processes are not working the way they should be. When they throw false corruption charges at me, I have to do so. You have to defend yourself. Would you agree?
Yes, but not by flipping the country upside down.
Well, that's because you're tech stuff. I'm a prime minister, five terms, by the way, so I think I know what I'm doing. Now, I've made a strong coalition in Israel with various, I think in America you would call them right-wing psychopaths and religious fanatics. And we have formed a very powerful coalition. And right now we're just having a little bit of trouble with the military and the population and the international community and the labor unions. But other than that, we have very strong support for my decisions. So as much as I want to be friends again with still President Donald Trump, can I say that?
You may.
As much as I would like to be friends with him and respected and cherished our strong bond, a delay was necessary because it was moving too quickly for the population of Israel. But soon enough, we plan on passing this in the dead of night so that when everybody wakes up to a beautiful morning in Israel, they will realize that it is no longer Tough BiBi or Prime Minister BiBi, but King BiBi. So I thank you for this time, still President Trump. And soon enough, you will see we're going to be like a January 6th times 5,000. And thank you for your inspiration. And I look forward to continuing our friendship. Thank you.
Thank you, formerly Tough BiBi.
Whoa, tech stuff.
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh, just
You know
regular
what? I
BiBi.
think
I think it's doesn't
no,
isn't it harsher formerly Tough BiBi? Okay.
excuse me,
Okay.
excuse me, excuse me. We have breaking news, and you're not breaking it. I'm breaking it, and I'll shut you down faster than Israel shuts down the judiciary. How about that? How about that? We'll shut down the tech stuff industry. In light of the very strong and powerful statement by my once and now again current friend, Tough BiBi is back. Tough BiBi is
Oh,
back because he acknowledged my presidency, as I suspected he would, and he explained that he was going to do the one thing I like even better than tough, which is he's going to be sneaky and tough. When every Israel person, whatever they call them, what do they call them?
Israelis,
No, that's not it.
Jews.
No, that's not it. Oh, aggressive people. When every aggressive person uh, wakes up, they're going to realize that BiBi has totally changed everything, and he will do it sneaky and tough. So sneaky and tough BiBi is back. He's BiBi. He's Tough BiBi. We respect him again. He's a friend of the show, and we appreciate his very strong statement.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are on good terms again. Mr. President, we have one more story, but I just want to let all the listeners know that this Thursday on the 30th of March at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing our live episode. That's right. We'll be having a special guest on the live episode. Will be Elon Musk will be joining us for a minute. Is that true?
We're going to see if he can make it. He's
Okay.
still he's currently, from what I understand, raping Twitter.
Okay.
So if he's still busy raping Twitter, he may postpone. But we're going to try and get him. We're going to try to get him for like 5 or 10 minutes to just stop raping Twitter, and then
Okay.
we'll just say, okay, you can go back to raping Twitter later, but just come join the show. Thank you.
Well, it is this Thursday, everyone. We had some perfect tens come in the last few days for this live episode. Join us, patreon.com/MPGA. You could join as low as $5 a month. We have hours and hours, probably hundreds of hours of bonus content, bonus episodes, special guests, movie
Excuse me.
reviews.
Excuse
Yes,
me. Not probably. It's called definitely.
definitely. Hundreds of hours, bonus material. We have Fred Trump traditions. We have Raging Brett's show that used to be on here before he got too drunk. Movie reviews. Fred Trump traditions, like I said before, tons and tons of bonus material. Join us, patreon.com/MPGA. And of course, our monthly live episode where you can ask the president questions and interact with the president. It's patreon.com/MPGA. Mr. President, you did say this in the news the other day, and I'd like you to, I don't know, go into more depth on it. You said that if you were in the White House, President, right now, you would end the Ukraine-Russia war in 24 hours, but you won't tell us how. Will you elaborate on that? Maybe give us a couple of hints?
Well, here's a hint. It's only going to take an hour, and the other 23 hours are for fucking Russian prostitutes. So it's going to be quick. It's going to be peaceful. It's going to be something that I think every Russian will be happy with, and every Ukrainian that survives will also be okay with. And so it's going to be peace. It's going to be done very quickly because I know that both Xi and Putin, Puji, as we call their power couple name, they're big fans and they respect me. Unlike they don't respect Sleepy John. They don't respect, what's his name? Voldemort Zelensky. So we're going to have a 1 hour. It's just going to be us sitting, having a nice, strong 1 hour conversation when we decide what's happening. I let them know what I think should happen. They'll agree. And then we're going to spend the other 23 hours enjoying Russian hookers and blowing up Ukraine. It's actually we're calling it the Eiffel Tower because we're going to launch nukes and Russia's going to launch nukes. So it's going to be like, when a Brett Kavanaugh's Devil's Triangles, it's going to be like
Yes.
that, except Russia and US will be going, the Cold War is over, and so is Ukraine. And it's going to be, and then we're going to have peace. We're going to have full peace.
Well, Mr. President, as always, we appreciate your time, especially being such a busy man, running for president in 2024 and trying to get all this witch hunting of you for January 6th and this hush money. We appreciate you joining us. Everyone, check out FanDuel when you get a chance and gamble this week for March Madness, the Final Four. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. And also, please check out Rocket Money, rocketmoney.com/MPGA. And check out the patreon.com/MPGA. Live episode again this Thursday, the 30th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And before you check out one of my buddies' specials this coming Saturday, April 1st, 9:30 p.m. at the Triad Theater, stream my special before then, Something from Nothing on Amazon. Check that out. And follow me on social media at JNog. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for this great episode. To me, I thank me. Hi, everybody. I'm tired. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, the usual. I got my other podcast, Righteous PK. It's a good listen if you're a fan of mine, which I know many of you are not. The special taping this Saturday, please come be part of the end of my comedy career. And what else? Anything else to share? Yeah, I have my own Patreon with a lot of bonus episodes, a lot of videos, etc. And if there's anything else, no, it's been a tremendous honor for other comedians to do comedy, but for me, it's been just years of pain. So thank you for being part of this journey. And I will we'll be here next week as usual until Trump dies, apparently. So that's it, everybody. Join our Patreon, for God's sakes. How about that? If you're still listening, which I know you're not, this is when I really get to vent. How much of our podcast do you have to enjoy? How many years of incredible, predictive political comedy content do you have to consume before you say, wow, and they're telling me the Patreon's even better and it's not that much money and I have been freeloading for half a decade? Yeah, I'll throw a couple bones and see what's up, and maybe I'll like it even more. And then I support my favorite podcast, or one of my favorite podcasts, and I'm like doubling the experience with a whole bunch of other types of Trump world humor. So the only people listening at this point are probably people who are Patreon people. So thank you, guys and gals and non-binaries. God help us all.